Hi guys, here's our math problem for today. Let's talk about some common errors that many of our students encounter when dealing with the imaginary unit I and the set of complex numbers. We have two problems here. Here's the first problem. What is the reciprocal of 6 plus the imaginary unit I? First, the common wrong answer that many students give is they think that the reciprocal of 6 plus I is 1 over 6 plus 1 over I. And we say this is the wrong answer. For the right answer, the reciprocal of 6 plus I is 1 over 6 plus I. And we can simplify this by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of 6 plus I, which is 6 minus I. So we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Now, numerator times numerator, since any number multiplied by 1 is equal to the same number, the numerator is 6 minus I. And for the denominator, we have here the product of the sum and difference of two numbers, which is equal to the difference of two squares. So using this formula, the product now of the quantity 6 plus I times the quantity 6 minus I is equal to the square of the first number, which is 36, minus the square of the second number, which is I squared. But what is the value of I squared? I squared is equal to negative 1, so we can simplify this further as 6 minus I over 36 minus negative 1, which is equal to 6 minus I over 36 plus 1, or 37, and this is the final answer. So the reciprocal of 6 plus I is 6 minus I over 37. Let's go to the second problem. We are given here the square root of negative 2 times the square root of negative 8. And I'm going to show you the common error that many students are encountering when solving this kind of problem. And then I'm going to show you later what's the right way. Now, common error that many students did in solving this problem is they apply the product property of radicals. They said since both are square root, their indices are the same, then they write this as one radical and they write the radicand negative 2 times negative 8. And then multiplying negative 2 times negative 8, that gives us positive 16, and the principal square root of positive 16 is 4. Now, this is the wrong answer. The right way of solving this is like this. We write the square root of negative 2 as the square root of negative 1 times positive 2, and the square root of negative 8 is written as the square root of negative 1 times positive 8. Then again, from the product property of radicals, we can split this into two radicals, the square root of negative 1 times the square root of positive 2 times the square root of negative 1 times the square root of positive 8. The square root of negative 1 is the imaginary unit I, then we copy the square root of 2. Again, the square root of negative 1 is the imaginary unit I, and we copy the square root of 8. Then I times I, by definition, is equal to negative 1, and we can now multiply the square root of 2 times the square root of 8 as the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is positive 4 multiplied by negative 1, and the result is negative 4, which is the answer to this problem. And we are done.